So once again, the question that you needed to write down, or the statement was, data file equals open parentheses, and in quotation marks, data.csv. And then we have R in quotation marks. Okay, what is the mode that Python is going to expect from that statement?
R, reading.
Sorry?
Reading, R.
Okay, so the mode is for reading only, and which file is being opened?
Data.csv.
What characterizes the data file as a CSV file? What makes it a CSV file?
It's a comma separated value file. All the values separated by a comma.
Good. So in a comma separated value file, there are no spaces in between the values. You have value, comma, value, comma, value, comma. What is that first piece of that line called? Data file equals open. What is data file there?
Is it the object title?
Good. So data file called the object. Data.csv is the actual data file. R, in this case read, is considered the mode. Python does not like to talk data file names. It just doesn't like it. Anytime you reference a data file in Python, you need to reference the object name. That's the reason why when you try to write data to a data file, it would say like datafile.write. The data file is the actual object name, and then you tell it what to do, like write. So that's what the point was in the lab activity. Okay, good. Okay, so the original question that I had asked was, do you have to close the data file after you open it? And one of the things that you need to be mindful of is that you really should, and particularly if you have data that you're writing to a data file. If you do not close the data file, the data will not be written to the data file. Okay? There's something referred to, and it talks about this in the notes, that the data file, when you write data, the data is buffered, meaning the data is sent to a file storage location, and then when you close the data file, the data is written to the file. Okay, so you really do have to close the data file. Okay. If you were to write, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. I have some code on my screen in PyCharm. I'm going to move it a little bit so I can write some code out. Tell me if you can see the code okay. Let me just bring it on my screen. Functions. Can everybody see this code okay?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this in the video description. Anytime you're watching a video that I post, in the lower right corner of YouTube, there is a little indicator telling you the screen resolution, and by default it's 720. 720 lines, but if you'll see a little icon that says HD. If you click on that and you can go to 1080, you can see the code a lot clearer. So I'm just saying that out loud. Okay, this is the code that I originally wrote to do that video. Some of you said, not everyone said they saw the video, but some did. please take time to go through that video if you haven't done so already, because this shows you everything that you need to know regarding the type of functions that are available in Python. We don't really have to talk about this particular program, but do you have any questions about the code or about the video at all?
I have one.
Good.
When, so in the get data, I forget what you call it, like the
Function.
yeah, in the function at the very bottom you have return x. But why don't you have return whatever for process data?
Okay, good question. So what I tried to do in this program, Elena, is I tried writing a program that made use of all three functions.
Right.
Type 1, type 2, and type 3. I just happened to write a type 2 which accepted parameters but didn't send anything back. What I could have done was I could have done this. I could have said return sum. Now, if I did that, I would have to have a variable here to accept the sum. Okay? But the way that this code is written so it's not going to accept a return value. If I did return this, I would have to change this to something like, I don't know, return sum equals. And that would allow the return value of sum to be sent back to the calling routine.
But how come you didn't need to do it for that one, even if you were using values that were then being printed back into the main code?
So let me bring the code back to the way that it was. Okay, ask the question again.
So in get data, you have return x, and I understand that it's returning obviously the inputs that the user put into the different variables, the local variables, I guess, for get data, and then being outputted. So I understand when you have return x, but then in process data, you're also still returning variables back to. I mean, maybe you aren't. I guess I'm not really sure because
I'm not.
when you run the code, the variables still are being. Like I'm having trouble like knowing the difference between when they're being outputted back into the main data or when they're just not.
Okay, so the language is critical. Okay, so in the function get data, I'm not sending any data to the function. And you say, how do you know that? In the parentheses in the original function definition, there's nothing being sent in like there is here. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not sending anything in. I'm doing all the work in the function, but I need this value of x in the calling program. I need this x to be assigned to value 1 when get data is complete.
Okay.
Process data, I've chosen, now I don't have to do it this way, I've chosen, I don't want to send anything back. There's nothing after the return. I'm going to do all my work within the function. Then I'm going to go back to where I came from and continue on.
Okay.
It's not used that often. I just wanted you to see that there are different types of things you can do. Most people who see a type 2 function say exactly what you did.
Okay.
Aren't you sending anything back?
Yeah.
Not here. I'm not. So you have a choice.
All right.
Okay? Okay. So beyond Elena, is there anybody else who has any questions regarding some of the code that's listed in this program?
I guess for the variables, I was making the code along with you when you were making it on my Python, and it doesn't matter if like all the variables were highlighted gray and underlined, and it kept saying like they had to be lowercase or.
Yeah, you write your code exactly the same way. The fact that they're grayed out doesn't necessarily mean that something's wrong.
Okay.
It depends on where you are in the process. Okay.
Okay.
I promise you that if there's a problem, PyCharm will let you know. There's one big red glaring thing that you need to know, and if I could burn it into your cerebral cortex, I would, whatever you have left right now. You could only return one item back to the calling routine. In other words, if you try doing this, X and X string, you cannot do that. Only one thing can go back to the calling routine. Now, I'm going to show you something in about a week. You're going to say to me, wait a minute, you said only one variable. I said, no, I didn't say one variable. I said one item. Now, as of today, all you know an item to be is a variable. Starting next week into the following week, an item can be a list. And that's where some of you have tried to use. As a matter of fact, I think a couple of people in the class have actually tried using a list, which is called an array or a matrix. An array has one name, but multiple indexes. So you could have x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3. 4 or 5 items under one package. Python allows a package to be sent back or a list, but you cannot send multiple variables back in a function. Okay, so as of right now, you're probably saying, okay, but I'm just sharing with you that when you write your function or your functions for your lab activity, there may be a tendency to say, just send back 2 data values, and you cannot. One value only, okay? Just know that going into the lab activity. Okay, so if I were to, in this function main, if I were to do this, while, let's see what we got. Are we returning X? No. While value is less than 10, print value 1 is value 1. Okay? Can you please tell me how many times will value 1 is followed by value 1 output to the screen?
It could be infinite loop, I guess. If the value is less than 10, then it's going to keep looping because there's nothing to stop the loop.
Do we agree with that, or is it, what do you think? James, I don't want you to fall asleep. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just a little tired.
I know, me too. So Elena is suggesting that this is potentially an infinite loop. If value 1, let's say, is 4, how many times will value 1 is 4 be displayed to the screen?
I want to say once, but I feel like that's the wrong answer.
Okay, then why are you saying it?
Might as well see if I'm right.
Okay, so it's a coin toss, right? 50-50.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's going to be a problem. Elena, you're spot on. The key here is that if you don't have something that's going to stop the loop, it's going to run forever. All right. So just to try it, let's see what it does. I'm going to run this code and see what happens. Enter an integer that you want to use in our equation. I'm going to say 2, and I'm going to say 6, and it's running forever. I don't know if you can see what you see on the screen, but because of the fact X value 1 is equal to 2, the code is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's running for the rest of time. Okay, so we have an issue. So in order for us to change that, we got to be able to tell Python, yeah, we're using the condition value 1 is less than 10. So we have to put something in here to stop it. So we put in value 1 is equal to 99. Is that the right way to do it, or should I do value 1 equal 99?
1 equal sign.
Sorry?
You should do one. You should do 1 equal sign.
What is this going to do?
It's going to test and see if value 1 is equal to 99.
Very good. This is a Boolean operator. This is an assignment operator. We want to change the value of value 1 to 99. That's why the single equal sign is there. So if we run it again, 2, 4, it said value 1 is equal to 2. It reassigns value 1 to 99. Loop stops. Okay? Quirky little things that you need to know for Sunday night. Okay. What else can I help you with?
Is how much of lab activity number 8 is going to be on the midterm?
Lab activity number 8?
Yeah. As like as part of it. It's not going to be on there?
I didn't say that. You need to know at least how to write an equation, write a function. And the reason I say that is because the lab activity is going to involve functions, but you have to know how to at least write a function. So let's talk about that. That's a good question. So in order to set a program up that actually uses functions, right, you got to redo the whole mindset, right? Everything here is function. This is a function. This is a type 1 function. Here's a type 1 function. Here's a type 1 function. But main is also a function. Okay, this is basically our main code, but we have to put it into a function. At the end of the video that I provided for you, I told you exactly what Python does. When Python sees a program like this that has multiple functions built in, inventories the functions themselves. So it says, okay, I find a function because I have a def here for define. I might need this later on. It puts this into memory. And it comes down and says, oh, I got another one. It doesn't read the code. It doesn't need to read the code. I got another one. This one actually has 2 parameters. I've got another one. And that's it. Then Python goes back to the top and looks for the first executable line of code, which it starts at the top and works its way down until it finds an executable line, which is right here. That is, and this is a good question. Line 59 is the first executable line of code. Got it? 59 is executed. Python says, is there a program called main in here? It understands that line 47 is where the main function starts, and then it executes the variable definition, value 1, value 2, and so on. Then it comes to the output purpose function, transfers control up to output purpose, executes the 2 print functions, and then returns control back to x plus 1. You understand what I'm talking about, x plus 1, right? It doesn't mean literally the variable x, but line plus 1, because it's already executed output purpose. It then comes to this line of code, which means we have to call another function called getData. Execution is temporarily suspended. We go find getData, it finds it, and then we go into the variables. Now, we'll talk about this more after the midterm, but something that I mentioned in the video, that it's very easy to just say, yeah, okay, got it. Just keep on talking. I want you to notice that when I execute process data, I'm sending the function value1 and value2. The handoff is a variable called v1 and v2. If you look at code online, and I know that people go to all these different websites, if you see functions, you may see that the variable value1 is used here, value1. It will work, but it's a dangerous thing to do because in the video I shared that variables within functions are local. That means that this variable v1 is only known in this function. It's not known anywhere else. So if you had a variable here called value1 and a variable here called value2, they are not the same variables. They look the same, but Python indexes them in a special way so that they're different. The reason I give it a different name is because I want to make sure that I don't get confused in thinking, well, if I modify it in the one function, it's going to modify the value in the other function, and it will never do that. It tries to maintain integrity. Okay? So you may see that video again and say, why didn't you name it the same variable? It's because it's really not the same variable. Okay? Now, did you understand basically what I was going over as far as the functions are concerned? Erin, are you okay?
Can I ask a quick question about the parameters?
Sure, of course.
So are there only function to like switch names for the variables or no?
Say that again. Say that again because your voice was very low.
Are they only used to switch names of the variables because they're local? Is that their only job, the parameters?
Yeah. So this function, process data, the code within the function itself needs two pieces of data. And they are the values that came from function main. Value1 and value2, well, we got them by executing the function getData. We need to use these two values to do the sum. So we pass them up. It's basically like, you know, you guys, I don't know if you guys run. If you're running around a track and you're holding the baton and you're running to the next person and you're passing the baton to the next person, it's exactly what's going on here. In function main, process data, bless you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Amazing thing. You can transmit your sneeze across 16 states. It's great. So we're taking value1 and value2 of baton, and we're passing it to v1 and v2, because v1 and v2 are known in process data. Value1 and value2 are only known in function main. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So if you don't have to switch variable names, nothing goes in the parentheses.
Okay. Ooh, say that again.
Like if you're not switching variable names, then you don't have to put anything in the parentheses.
No. There's nothing to do with not having to put anything in the parentheses. There are some functions you don't have to send data in to do its work. For instance, over here I say, I have a function called output purpose. There's nothing being sent to the function because I don't really need anything in the function from main. When I do output purpose, it's just going to print out two lines, you know, it's going to print out a purpose and get an extra space. That's what output purpose does. It doesn't need any data from main in order to do its job. Okay? If you don't send parameters in, that has nothing to do with changing the variables.
Okay.
I'm saying if you do send data to a function, you need to change the variables to different names.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Now, some of you, I promise, I'm looking into the crystal ball. Some of you are going to write functions. You're going to use the same variables, and you're going to say, you must have been wrong because it works for me. It is going to work. I'm suggesting that because the variables are local, they're only known within the function, what appears to be, well, I have a value 2 here, and how about if I put a value 2 here? It will work, but they're not the same. And I think you can understand why. If I start messing with value 1 and value 2 in this function, you would start thinking, oh, that's not good, because when I go back to the calling routine, it messed the values up. That would not be, it's not the case. Python keeps track of, even though it's the same name, it's keeping track. It's not, in essence, what it's doing is saying, if this is value 1 and you put value 1 here, behind the scenes, it's really value 1 and value 1 prime. Different variables. Looks the same, but it has to maintain data integrity, so it's not going to allow you to mess with those values in the variables. That's why it's a good idea on the onset, use different variables to accept your data that you're passing to the function. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Sure. Anything else? We lost Tim.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh.
I'll just give you guys the answers and no one else is going to get it.
Can I ask a question about the lab assignment then?
Like Nate, lab assignment 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said no.
No.
So then, I'm trying to think. So you need, one of the functions was Fahrenheit to Celsius or whatever. So then in that, then you would need to input whatever the user inputs for temperature. You need to take that input and put it in the parameters of Fahrenheit to Celsius is what you're trying to say. And then do kind of what you did for process data.
You want to write one right now?
No, I'm just trying to think it all in my head while I have you here
And that's why I want to say, you want to write one now?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's do this. Temp C is equal to int. I'm not doing error checking.
Yeah, that's fine.
You guys have become masters at try except logic. Input. Please enter your temperature in degree C. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Now we have to write a function to convert. So let's write the function. So in order for us to do the conversion, we can do it one of two ways. Elena, since this is your question, I want to ask you how you want to do it. You can write the function, you can write the code here to call the function, and then we can go write the function. You want to do that, or you want to write the function first and then use it?
I would write the function first and then use it in the main.
You want to do that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to put it right here. You don't have, that's the other thing. I'm sure the question's going to come out. Does the order matter? No. Doesn't have to be ascending ordered, alphabetical, doesn't matter. Okay, so how do we write the function? And this is not specifically Elena's question. I want, if you guys have input, please answer. Let's write the function. Let's write a function to convert centigrade to Fahrenheit. I'll be your hands.
I mean, it would just be define or DEF, and then it would be Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then it'd have open parentheses, but we need to put temp C in the open parentheses.
Excellent. Excellent. So we have to have a variable here that's going to accept the temperature that's going to be passed to it from main. So what do you want to call it?
Well, I guess if it's already defined as being degrees in Celsius, just put degree C, DEGC.
DEGC. Beautiful. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can call it anything you want. My suggestion is to make it similar. Now, this is what I was going to do. Doesn't mean what you did was wrong. You ready?
Yeah.
Watch. Since I have temp C at the bottom in main, how about if we do this? Temp Celsius. Okay. It's just what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the two variables close to each
Oh,
other.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Temp C, temp Celsius.
Right, right.
Okay. It just to try. You don't have to. You could have said degree C. It's not a problem. Okay. Why am I getting the red squiggly?
You don't have the colon.
Yeah, colon. Okay. Now what do I do?
Then you would take oh, you started it.
Sorry.
I was gonna say you would take F Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius and set it equal to 0, wouldn't you?
How about if I do temp F?
Oh, right.
I'm converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, right? Okay. So, Erin, help me out here.
So then temp F equals int temp F.
Well, what we're going to do is, at this point, we're passing to the function F. I'm sorry. I made a mistake here. It's actually C to F, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Integrate to Fahrenheit.
Can you scroll down a little bit to that other input that you wrote in there?
I'm sorry?
Other way. Can you scroll? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So temp F, what the heck is the equation? Can somebody guess that?
I'm trying to think. It's Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Okay,
Is
so
it gonna be like,
if you put in 100 degrees Celsius, that's equal to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So 100, is it plus 32 times 9/5?
Yeah.
yes.
Is that what? I want to make sure it's right because I don't want to mess that up. Calculator. Okay, 100 plus 32 times 9 divided by 5. Nope, that ain't it.
It's Celsius times 9/5, then plus 32.
Say it again.
It's times 9/5, then plus 32.
Okay, so 100 times 5 divided by 9.
9/5.
9 over 5?
Yeah.
Hold on. 100 times 9 divided by 5 plus 32?
Yes.
That's the one. Okay, so it's the temperature Celsius times 9 divided by 5 plus 32, right?
Yeah.
So Erin, let's finish the equation.
Okay, so would this be where the equation would go? Temp
Yes.
F equals,
Yes.
in parentheses, you put temp C,
Temp what?
temp C,
Temp what? James, help her out.
Temp Celsius.
The reason it's temp Celsius is because in this function, we can only use variables that exist in this function. You can't use this.
okay.
This isn't known in here, and this is not known here.
Okay.
So temp Celsius
Times 9,
times 9 divided by 5.
and then outside the parentheses you
plus
could say
32.
at. Yeah, 32.
So the converted temperature is in temp F. Elena, what do you think now?
Sorry, I muted myself. We just do return temp F.
Of course you would do that. We did all of our work. We initialized our variable. We converted the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and you return F. You return temperature F. That's the function. How do you use it here?
C to F with,
Say it again.
it'd be the function C to F,
C to F.
and then it would be open parentheses with temp C in it.
Very good. But this is not going to do what you think it's going to do. If the function C to F, which we just wrote, if it's returning the temperature conversion, how do we have to write that code here?
Temp F equals C to F temp C.
Say it again.
Temp F equals C to F parentheses temp C.
Very good. Very good. So temp F is equal to. So here's how Python's going to execute this code. It's going to ask the user for an input conversion, right? It's going to say, what is the temperature degrees centigrade? It assigns that number to temp C. Then we take temp C and we put it as a parameter, send it to the function C to F. It goes up here. Temp C is passed as a baton, like a baton pass, to temp Celsius. Temp Celsius now is local to this function. So anytime we want to use a Celsius temperature, we have to use temperature Celsius. We do the equation. We assigned it to a variable called temp F, and we're passing that back. Okay? As a matter of fact, if we really want to stay consistent with making sure we have unique variables, notice that temp F, temp F, temp F. Not a good idea. So I'm going to put over here Fahrenheit. Okay? And then I'm going to put here Fahrenheit. So I'm returning temp Fahrenheit. And when the return value occurs, it's going to assign temp Fahrenheit and send it to temp F. Now what we can do is we can output it. So print the temperature temp C degrees C is temp F degrees F. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm going to try 100 as my test case because 100 should give me 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's try. This is the beginning portion of the code. 2 and 4 is 6. We get that to work. Okay, enter the temperature in degrees Celsius. 100. Let's hope this thing works. And it worked. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing and we can call it a night because I think you guys are doing really well. When you're about to get involved with dealing with functions, it really is a good idea for you to learn how to use debug. You really have to know how to use it. Because if your functions aren't working right, you're going to have to trace this program to make sure it's right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a breakpoint right at my first line of executable code within my function called C to F. Okay? Because if you're not getting the right conversion, you got to find out what's going on. okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a breakpoint in my function, and I'm going to put a breakpoint just before we execute the function call. Now, have you been with me when I've done the debug version?
I think so, yeah. At least once.
Okay. Okay, so watch what's going to happen now. I'm going to go to click on run and debug. I'm going to run my program. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's running. Okay, so it's actually running my code. It's actually sitting, it's actually in the get data function. So enter the value 2 and 4. Now, that's always worked. So let's say for the sake of discussion, we're running this code. It's like, why is it giving me the wrong values for the temperature conversion? You want to see what's going on in the temperature conversion. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 100 temperature in. And as soon as I press the enter key, it's going to stop. Now I want you to take a look at something here. Python is showing me the local variables that are found in function main. Notice that it's not telling me anything to do with temp temp Fahrenheit. Return. It's not giving me any of these variables. It's only, excuse me, it's only giving me the variables, the local variables within function main. Got it? Now, you're going to see something happen in a moment. It's going to freak you out a little bit, but just bear with me. So we're currently still sitting in main. I have a breakpoint set at line 68. I'm going to go ahead and execute. I'm going to send, it's going to say temp C is equal to 100. So I'm sending 100 into C to F. Here we go. I'm going to click it once. I want you to notice that the variables from main disappeared. Well, they really didn't disappear. They were placed onto something called the stack. Remember I said before that Python temporarily suspends execution of function main because we're in a different function? Those variables no longer exist in function C to F. Temp Celsius does because I just passed it in. And it even tells you that right here. Temp Celsius has just taken on the number 100. It's very important that you understand what I just did. And are you okay with what I just did? Which one is it?
Yep.
Aaron, you okay?
Yeah.
That was not said in confidence. I just sent up to my C to F function 100. I sent up temp C, but it was accepted by variable temp Celsius.
Right.
And that's what I'm showing in my screen right here. Temp Celsius equals 100. At least I know it transferred correctly. You see?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to single step through my function and you'll see what happens. Temp F equals 0. It really should have been temp Fahrenheit. I'm going to execute the next line of code and it's going to calculate temperature Fahrenheit. Now, there's your temperature Fahrenheit conversion. Now, if the equation was wrong, you'd see the bad value here. And this way you can go look at it and say, my equation must have been off. And then you can fix the equation and run the program again, okay? Now I'm gonna return temp Fahrenheit. I'm returning back to main. When I do, temp Fahrenheit will disappear and you'll see what the next line of code is. So I'm gonna click on return, watch the variable list. The variables that were in that function go away. They're put on the stack. And the variables that were in main that were there before, have been restored. I'm going to execute this line of code. You should see tempf appear. Tempf equals 212. That means that the variable passed from C to F back to main without issue. Okay? I'm going to stop for a minute. I want to show you one other thing, and then we'll call it a night. And variable temp Fahrenheit is temp Fahrenheit, H-E-I-T. Okay. Now, did I spell it right? Look. Temp Fahrenheit and temp Fahrenheit. Do you understand why there's a red squiggly line?
Because it's not that was a local variable in the function and not a global variable.
Elena? That was perfect. Temp Fahrenheit is a variable that's only known in the function C to F. It is not known anywhere else. That's why Python, through PyCharm, is saying, what the heck is temp Fahrenheit? Because it's not known within main. Get it? If I attempt to run this thing, it's gonna bomb. 2 for 100, and it's gonna bomb. Okay, you notice the error name? As a matter of fact, you know when we talked about the exceptions in try except logic? Here's the exception that Python just sent back to PyCharm. It said the name error. So if you really wanted to trap this, you could say except name error. Okay? It's telling you straight out, temp Fahrenheit is not defined. It's not. It doesn't exist in main. It only exists within this function called C to F. Okay? Does this help?
Yeah, a ton.
A ton. I love it. Okay, let me get rid of this because it's making me upset. Delete. Okay, good. Good. I think you guys did great. I think you guys did really well. You're doing some heavy duty stuff. I cannot wait into the fall when I tell my students we're going to do these things. Like, man, you're going too fast. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Okay. Are there any other questions that you have?
I just have one super quick one.
Super quick.
Actually, two super quick ones. So then when we go to write our algorithm, do we have to define each function and give kind of what it's about and then define the main? Okay.
Yeah.
And then also for lab 8, change case, that function name, I'm not too positive what exactly you mean. I mean, is that just making everything so you can print an upper or lower? Is that kind of what you mean?
You know how what you're doing right now, you're basically taking a string variable and you're saying the string variable dot upper.
Yeah.
You send your data into the change case function. You do your changing of the case and send it back.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Erin, you doing all right?
Yeah, this really helped. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, the video also talks about some of the similar things, but at least this will be even more. And James, what do you got?
Actually, the only thing I'm really having trouble with is in the lesson. No matter what, I'm on the I'm past the part for lab 7, and I'm on the part where it's like the lab 8, like the stuff before lab 8, where it's asking like whether the variable x data is considered a local or global one. I've tried choosing both answers, and it's saying both are wrong.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, that happened to me too.
Yeah, it happened to me too, and I just.
Oh, suddenly it all comes out, right? Okay. All right, hold on a minute. I think it might have been just case. Hold on a second. You didn't get a time out of 10 max. You didn't reach your 10, did you?
I don't think I.
You have the option and just skip it, and then I just skipped it.
Yeah, it says like, would you like to try again? Then it gives you say like, yes, I would like to try again, and then or no, I just want to continue with the lesson.
Wait. Which question was it again before you get in the functions?
It was after the Lab 7 submission portal one.
Right.
It's where it's saying like in the block of code x equals 100, define list data, x data, and then for iron range, so on and so forth.
If you submit Lab 7 to the portal, it's got to be after that.
Yeah, it's after that one. It's like I think it's the first question after that.
Wait, all right, hold on. Let me take a look. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Did you put it in uppercase or lowercase?
It's a multiple choice question.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, there's no right answer. Okay.
Yeah, that was my issue.
Yeah, there is a right answer. It's called, I got to put a 1 near the right answer and it works. So hold on. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, you got it right. It was local variables that what I don't wait, hold on a second. Let me make sure I didn't give you the wrong answer. In the block of code, X data. Where's X data? Oh, there's X data. Okay, so X data is a local variable. Yeah, it's a local variable. So I gave you the right answer. So if you went through it again, it'll work.
All right.
Okay.
And for those lesson questions, I know they give us a grade at the end of the lesson, but is that grade not counted? Okay.
Yeah, they're not counted. The only reason why I did those questions was because I was hoping that if you read the questions basically had to do with what was in the module before. So you read the module, you go to the questions. It was just supposed to be something that you can see that you're supposed to be doing that reading.
Okay.
But I can see that you're trying to outsmart the system. So it's just there to try to help you, that's all.
Okay.
Okay? All right, guys, I'm going to stop the session. If there is anything else, send me an email. I'll be around over the weekend. And if you have any questions, I'll try to get to it as soon as possible, okay?
Will you be posting this tonight to the Moodle?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure. You want me to do that?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. It'll take about 15 or so minutes to do that. So I'll post it in the class video section.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks again, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Dude.